people can hear us now. I'm going to look at the comments and then I'll hide Sean Ryder because he's on his phone. No, dude. I had you on there. My name's Ryan Tamori. Let's see if people can hear me in the comments. Jimmy H. I don't think you're that funny tonight, but apparently everybody can hear us. My name's Ryan Tamori. This is the Pit Press Live, and I'm joined by Ed Nunez, the voice of the Western New Mexico Mustangs and a Lobo fan since 1970. Ed, it's nice and cool in here.
Well, you had to not navigate through a lot of tech issues, and hopefully they're solved.
All right, everybody's loud and clear. Thank goodness. To our next guest. You know, I wish we were in Albuquerque. That way I could tell you to be much more patient. His name is Sean Ryder of the Albuquerque.
Yeah.
I kill this joke till the day I die. My U.S. history degree and my print journalism degree were hard at work with all this technical shit.
Sean, how are you doing?
I'm sorry for that, dude.
I'm good. I'm good.
You give up, Ryan.
No worries. We got it done. We're good to go.
I wasted 29 minutes of time when you're early 20s in Las Vegas. All right, we're thrilled to be here. It's day one of Mountain West Conference Football Media Days. I want to start, and I'll throw it to Ed, but at some point. But what did you make of today? This is your second year in a row here.
Yeah, I mean, standard media day. I mean, day one's always the players, day two's always the coaches. So we had Luke Weissong, Gabriel Lopez. I thought they were both really good today. Gleaned some interesting stuff from them in terms of what the summer has been like, and you know how. I mean, we've talked with a ton of players about Bronco taking over and all that, but got some interesting stuff from them. Talked about NCAA football ratings, which was kind of fun, I thought. I mean, some interesting other players to talk to. Ike Larson, Spencer Petras, both Utah State, I thought were really good. Ricky White was pretty good too. It was a good day, man. Tiring, but good.
What did you make from Gabe? I keep on calling him Gabe Lucero because I have a good friend that's Gabe Lucero. Gabe Lopez, defensive end for the University of New Mexico. And Luke Weissong, what did you learn from them that maybe you hadn't already had?
I talked to Weissong a little bit about his injury. I had never spoken with him about that before. I didn't talk to him this spring. Just talked to him a little bit about his recovery process there and what that kind of looked like on his end, and then also just kind of embracing the culture that Bronco Mendenhall has installed at UNM, and kind of a similar deal with Gabe Lopez as well.
That was a big thing. I think word was culture around those parts on University and Cesar Chavez. Ed, I can already know what you're going to ask him because we haven't had him on in a while, and it's that attention to detail.
I read all your articles. Like I told you that.
Thank you.
I'm an avid reader. Read them all. Rick Wright, all of them, man. I'm a big reader. And you mentioned this, and I did ask Gabe Lopez that. The attention to detail that you mentioned. And when I read that, I'm like, okay, what do you mean, right? I've been thinking to myself, pay attention to blocking and tackling, fundamental technique. So according to Gabe Lopez, he said attention to everything. Whether the locker room's clean, attention to everything, and so that kind of put things in perspective. And Luke Weissong said that too. That Coach Mendenhall has that he's different. He's different than different Coach Gonzalez. And Luke Weissong said that Coach Mendenhall had said this during spring that many of you won't be here. That some of you won't last, and a lot of them didn't. A lot of them transferred out. But is that what you meant when you wrote the attention to detail when you write that? Because when you write that, I'm always like, I've been around athletics for a long time. Coaches, players, been around a long time. So when you write that, is that what you meant? Attention to all detail, or specific details? Because you write that a lot.
Yeah, I mean, complete and utter, top to bottom. I mean, it's the roster, the on-field product, how they eat, how they practice. I mean, just everything across the board, just complete and utter, total control.
I think one of the things that got me too was they and Sean, we talked about this. Everyone's 0-0. It's July. Everyone's going bowling, man. The enthusiasm is here, right? Everybody's enthusiastic, and everybody, they're going to have a successful season. The safety, Utah State, I can't remember.
Ike Larson.
Very impressed. Very impressed. But I think the two representatives from New Mexico, they seem to have already bought into what Coach Mendenhall has taught them. The schedule's tough for sure. They're predicted to win 1.5 games. Is that it?
Game and a half. It's not 1.5 games.
Yeah, game and a half. Yeah, game and a half. So, I think, of course, we don't know what the field things are going to look like. Even in the game, they're 4-point dog, right? Montana State.
4.5.
So, but just what you glean, you said you glean some too. What's your overall? It's hard to see until you see it on the field. But what do you think the outlook looks like for the Lobos this season?
Yeah, it's still hard to say. I mean, the preseason media poll came out today. I picked UNM still second to last, and part of that is, I feel like I have a decent beat on the team, but not even close to what I had at, kind of this time last year and all that. So, I mean, fall camp, watching that could change things for me. They start on July 24th this year, so really early start. That's 2 weeks from today. But yeah, I mean, I think there's certainly the talent there for them to not be, to kind of maybe overperform to a certain degree. But it's kind of at a point where you just have to see. And you mentioned 4.5 for the Montana State game. I saw FanDuel had them as 7.5.
What?
Yeah, I'm not joking. I was looking at it today. So
that blows my mind.
Yeah, it feels like I do understand why Montana State is favored. Touchdown and a half. That feels like a little bit of a sharp line.
Well, I mean, when you look at 5,
when you look at 4.5, that essentially means like they're a touchdown favorite.
Yeah.
They can beat them by
the city that we're in,
they can beat them by a touchdown.
I know they're good.
I'm looking at everything now. 32-9. I don't know the head coach's name, but
Brent Vigen.
Yeah, 32-9 since he's been there, and they're dominantly. I mean, College Game Day was there 2 years ago. That's in Missoula, right? Or Bozeman. Bozeman is, I think,
Montana State. Bozeman's
Montana. Yeah.
You
had mentioned that I had overheard that you wrote about it, and I used to subscribe to the journal. Now I pick and choose what I read from it, and it's not a knock on you. It's trying to save money. You had mentioned that UVA might have been a harder job for Bronco Mendenhall. Can you elaborate on that and how it might be more difficult than what he's got at UNM?
Yeah, I think I mentioned that. And that's my opinion. And I think I mentioned that on a podcast as well. I think for me, it's just, for this level of football, and I mean, like, not to like make a big hullabaloo about the G5, T5 difference or A4 difference or whatever. Virginia coming up to Mike London was kind of just cratered. The roster was a disaster. Brian Mendenhall was talking to a good degree about how he walked in that room and it seemed like nobody really wanted to play football, nobody wanted to be there, and so they had to do a cultural reset to such a level that he felt that it took away from the actual on-field product the first year, but he just kind of had to do it at that point. It doesn't seem quite that level right now. There is a cultural reset at UNM, but not quite to the the kind of like life jolt that you kind of need to do at Virginia.
There was some hope at the end of the year for New Mexico. They lose a game to Utah State and went into overtime, and maybe Coach Gonzalez gets another year. Maybe not. You said it's done. What's done is done, and it's true. But you saying that about Virginia, okay? So in Virginia, his first year he's 2-10, and then I've said this and I keep saying it.
And they got blown out by FCS Richmond too that first game as well.
Whoa. His first year,
yeah, that first game.
Okay, so and then
there's a really good Richmond team.
Yeah, but the Mendenhall effect, right there is an effect. So he he has a winning season. So that's kind of encouraging to me. As a Lobo fan, that if he said that Virginia was pretty bad. And then next year they right away the effect, Mendenhall effect. They start winning.
Mm-hmm.
Again, he's been in 14 bowl games. He's 7-7 in bowl games. And bowl games are the last one we went to, New Mexico, was Bob Davie in 2016.
Mm-hmm.
And it's been a while since then. We mentioned that they haven't. The program has not been good. It's not been good. We have to be honest about it. But I think just listening again, optimism is high right now. Because of it, and I said this too, that I thought I told Jeff Simbieta this, and I've said this to Ryan. I think the hiring of Bronco Mendenhall was just as important as the hiring of Steve Alford here as basketball coach. I really do. It's now or never for the football program, right? I mean, a guy like Coach Mendenhall comes in, and you expect results. You do, because he's had it at other places. And the roster, there's some excitement. I think there's some playmakers there. Devin Dampier. The Lobos have not had a solid quarterback for a long time, a consistent behind center quarterback. When's the last time? It's been a while. You weren't around, but it's been a few seasons. So I think there is optimism, but the schedule is tough. One question I want to ask you: 3 bye weeks is a lot. That's a lot. It really is. It's, does that give them an advantage to practice more? To get his program in there. Is that an advantage for him at all?
I think the way that he's kind of approaching is that we'll find a way to make it an advantage. I mean, every time I've asked him about it, he said, "Yeah, it's weird. We've never experienced this. I've never had 2 bye weeks to begin with in one season." But it seems like they're going to figure out a way to make it work. And I think first year program, you're kind of taking over and whatnot, or your first year with a new program, like your depth is going to be tested regardless when you're kind of building things back up. So I think that could help in terms of depth and getting some guys some extra rest that they wouldn't normally have with, the 2 extra bye weeks. But I mean, we'll see how that works out. I mean, we'll probably write about it. We'll talk about it a lot more during the season as well.
I'm going to let you go since you were patient enough to sit here
with our audio issues.
So, Sean Ryder of the Albuquerque Journal, man, I had pleasure talking to you. I really appreciate your time. I'm sorry about
pleasure talking to you. I do want to shout out Ronnie Chavez in the comments of the Theo Vaughn. That made me laugh.
Yeah, I saw. I'm glad you saw that. Jimmy H said that. I don't know what Eric's doing. Ryan co-signed for Sean to get him in. Yeah, it keeps turning you on mute. I don't know why. Ryan co-signed for Sean to get into nightclubs last night. Well, anyway.
I can't afford nightclubs.
On the Albuquerque Journal's salary, I get it. Sean, thanks for joining us. We're going to take a quick commercial break. Jared Chester, let's keep audio. We'll have a technician.
Thanks for having me.
Try to join us. Have a good one, man.
Let him cook. Let him cook now. Let him cook. I said let him cook.
Like Sony down.
All right, yeah, we're having a lot of fun. A lot of technical difficulties. We apologize. My U.S. history degree and my U.S. history degree and my print journalism degree are hard at work. All right, now we're joined by Van Tate's Robin. I know I did.
You did it.
I did it.
You did it.
Jared, I love this man. I love talking to him. Jared Chester, KRQE. He's here in Vegas joining us for the Mountain West. Chet Steadman. Garden Hoser. I love when he says, I love when the manager and the rookie of the year says Garden Hoser. Jared Chester from KRQE joining us. You weren't here last year. You're here this year. I'm happy to have you here.
Yeah.
How has Media Days been treating you?
It's been good. It's been fun. But yeah, it's very tiring. Happy it's over with and ready for day 2. And I just want to hop on and say I am very impressed that you guys are here and battling, fighting through the punches. You know what I'm saying? And doing a good job. Thank you for being out here, guys.
Well, we appreciate it. And I always appreciate your time when you join us. And I know I said, I'm going to ask you to come on. Then it's like 3 months later and you're in a relationship and things like that. I didn't know.
Yeah.
You're in Hawaii with a girlfriend. I'm like, where I haven't talked to you then. So, hey, how you were? I don't even know if you were in Hawaii.
I was in Hawaii.
How was Hawaii?
It was cool. I was just a little like, I don't know if you guys know this, but when you go to Hawaii, like if you laugh too loud, they look down upon that. Yeah. I was super, I guess they're more prone to aloha. You're welcome, dad joke. Sorry, guys. I had to get it out there.
I was looking at you so perplexed during that
It's all
entire
about the setup,
comment.
man.
Your dad's here with you. You said he already drives. He always comes out with you here.
Yeah,
right?
he came out here with me. I needed a little help and a little father-son time, and he's a former football guy as well, you know.
That's bad, Jared.
No,
That's bad. I think about it, but even your pop is laughing, man.
Yeah,
and then,
it's
know,
bad.
so that I have to tell my wife that one. She'll appreciate that. Yeah, she will.
Hopefully somebody enjoyed it.
I thought I was the king of bad jokes.
No.
You're always welcome on the show.
I might take that title from you, man.
That's
How was your guys' day though? Tell me about what you guys.
I'm tired. I don't like to fly, so we're gonna start there. And I mentioned it on our show last night. He knows this. I don't like to fly, so we get on the plane. We board the plane yesterday, and we're backing up, and the pilot comes over the what do you call it, the PA system on a plane, and I was like, oh, the right engine just fell off, so we need to stay put. And they're like, well, there's air traffic control at LAX, like air traffic control issues at LAX, Phoenix, and Vegas. So it's going to be another 50 minutes. And I was like, oh man. And luckily we left early enough. And we were only like 30 minutes late. Like we got up in the air and they hauled ass. I'm not a pilot, so I don't know how that works. But if I was a pilot, I wouldn't be sitting here talking to you guys. But anyway, I'd be that was not a good joke. Aloha. Yeah, that was great.
Yeah.
So we get here, he and I go to eat, and there's TVs on at this great, they don't sponsor us. If you're ever in Vegas, Hash a Go-Go. It's amazing. Amazing breakfast. There's one in the plaza, and then there's one in the link. And they got cameras on it. It goes live to Fox 5 here in Vegas. I'm name dropping another station since you work in TV. And it's Kamala Harris. It's the vice. We're not getting political. It's just the vice president. And I was like, that's the reason we were late. So it was Kamala Harris to go say hi to Kawhi Leonard for 5 minutes here in Vegas. That is the reason we were delayed in Albuquerque for another 50 minutes. So I haven't had any issues flying since COVID. So that was the only one, and it wasn't anything weather related. And that was a long-winded story. That was probably really boring, but we're okay. We're here. I think Ed's having a good time. You're having a good time.
No, it's been a great. We talked to some very interesting players today. We of course talked to the Lobo representation, but the guy from Boise State, how do you say his name, Ryan?
Ahmad. Gosh. I wish Jacob Neff was here, because as I've mentioned on my radio show, I had a segment called how can I butcher this, or how do I pronounce this UFC fighter's name, or how can I butcher it? Ahmad Hassanen.
Yeah, Hassanen.
He's never played football up until 2019. He's from Egypt. He was very outspoken, and he was like, yeah, I don't, two things that I took away from it. He said, I don't understand sarcasm in America. And when I started playing football, I had penalties all the time. I just played. And I thought he was really cool to talk to. Ike Larson, the safety from Utah State, was really cool to talk to because of the situation going on there. And he was very candid. And then the third big thing was asking if players had opted into NCAA football to get the $600. And I think it was a lot more than the $600 to have your name in a video game and you be featured with your name, image, and likeness.
That was the big thing. Everyone was really hyped to talk about that for sure.
Oh, I think, of course they were, you would see yourself playing in a game and be able to play in a game with your image.
Yeah.
That's pretty cool. But I think the other guy, and there was a couple of them, Jackson Woodard, the linebacker from UNLV, 6'3", 230, man.
I know you were going to say
yeah. And the dude is put together, right? He really is. But, almost everyone to a T, Jared, Ricky White the third, the receiver from UNLV, he had 1,483 yards last year. And he's talking about working on his craft. He still wants to get better. He hasn't talked to Devontae Adams, Ryan Asamat here, the Raiders receiver. That's one of his guys that he looks to. But when you look at Jackson Woodard, it's like, and it's such the guy has been on the All Mountain West all academic team for 3 straight seasons. Really intelligent young man, but everybody to a T, just really polite, man.
Yeah.
And so I've been around, I told Ryan, around athletics 50-some years, man. And so I still get psyched in hearing that and hearing with their approach. And Jackson Woodard, I think it was the safety from Utah State, to Ike Larson. He's ready to go hit him today, man. He's like, if there's a game today, man, they're ready, right?
Yeah.
And that's the thing that I think that I got out of it the most, just hearing these young men talk about their schools, how they UNLV feels like, hey, this could be a very big season for them.
Yeah.
One of their guys thinks they could be in the bowl in the 12-team playoff. And I was like, I had to back off of that a little bit. It's like, you won 9 games for the first time since 1999.
Yeah.
Pump the brakes. But that's what they think, though, right?
Yeah.
And their go-go offense is 34 points a game last season.
Yeah.
Who's to say it's not? But this is July,
Mhm.
and the season starts next month. Everybody's 0-0, but everybody's going bowling.
Like you said, yeah, everyone's 0-0. We were talking about that earlier. Everyone's very hyped and very confident coming in. But you got to look at UNLV. They got so many transfers in, and they are a dangerous team. I'm sorry. And I mean, Mountain West is one of those teams. I mean, is one of those conferences that can. They're not in the new Power 4, but I mean, they're definitely a conference that could put out some talent, and we're going to get talent in here. So you never know what's going to happen. I think UNLV is definitely a market. This Vegas market is where we have a lot of transfers coming. They're going to get a lot of good players, and I think they already have. So they could be definitely a team to watch. I mean, obviously them at Boise State. So, I mean, I'm excited to see what happens this year.
Yeah.
I would come play here in a heartbeat.
Right.
Down. I don't know about you. I would do it. Have you ever been to Boise?
I have not.
So that was a bucket list. And what I do with a full-time job that I don't do here, because this is a part-time, full-time job, I guess.
Yeah.
How we did. So I got a buddy of mine that I don't think he's watching, Eddie. Oh, here you go. His last name's Eddie Dunn, D-U-N-N. And I always tell him, I'm done with your bullshit. Jacob Neff knows him. If you're watching, I love you. He's not. But I always wanted to go there and get up there on a Friday evening. And it was an event, kind of an eventful weekend, because Andy Avalos got fired for covering the spread by half a point.
Yeah.
But you get up there and they just eat, breathe, and live football. And I had the pleasure. I got to the stadium early. The kickoff was at 8. I was there at like 5:36 because I'd always wanted to go. And you walk out, and the stadium's not that big, but you're on the blue turf, and then you're in the stands, and you're kind of like, it's like a mini like NFL. I mean, it's still college. It's like a mini like SEC school or something. And the stadium looks bigger than it is. It was weird, but it's such a cool place. I mean, the reason I'm telling you that is because I would go play there, but I would come with NIL and everything. I would come. Well, I guess we learned that UNLV didn't really have an NIL program or collective, which I didn't understand because I'm an idiot. But I laughed too loud there. Aloha. There
you go. Reference.
Yeah, there we go. I would come. I don't know. I would come. You're playing in Allegiant Stadium. You're here. I don't know. That's my whole shit.
It's got to be the big draw, right?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would come here.
Going back to the Boise thing, that's what I understand why Boise has been good. They've been storied since the 2000s. And I mean, we've seen great teams, but how can UNM not harness that same type of, success? Hot take, maybe University Stadium, go to red turf, right?
Yeah.
You got the blue turf there, get the red turf at UNM.
Well,
maybe I'll kickstart something.
I said
I'm looking at it in my mind, Jared. That's not a bet.
Just do cheer. Yeah. I had said that last year. I don't know if it was on the record or off the record, but I was like, if they can't win this year, just not get rid of the football program, just to redo everything, like demolish the football stadium and redo. And there's no money there, but I don't know how they. And I'm going to segue to that. I've heard that, and I think it's been said, Bronco is different. He's been my terrible, terrible joke. We were getting ready. The UNM football team's doing 3 things: getting ready to play Georgia I'm flipping off the people. I didn't mean to do that. University of Georgia is getting ready. I was trying to count down, that I did my middle finger. That UNM is trying to get ready to play Georgia. They have the plans of the Death Star, or they're invading Normandy. They've been very hidden. And Bronco is different, and maybe different is good. What have you learned?
I mean, obviously you're in the same boat as me. We haven't been able to see this team. I heard you talking to Sean. It's the same thing. We haven't really been able to see this team, but I think it is different. I think it is good though that he's keeping it kind of close to the chest and kind of hiding it, because I think after I love Danny Gonzalez and what he did, it just didn't work. It didn't work, obviously. So he's coming in and he knows what he's doing. In his 17 years as a head coach, 16 of those years, Bronco Mendenhall has been to a bowl game. So he obviously knows what he's doing. He knows how to rebuild a program. Now, does he know how to do that in the day and age with NIL and the transfer portal? I hope he does. I mean, as being a person from New Mexico, and it would be easier for me to cover them. But also, it just, I think he does know what he's doing. And I hope that we'll have more, us being media, we will have more insight as the season goes on. But I do think it is a good move, honestly. As much as it does like kind of stink for us right now, I think it will pay off, honestly.
That's a very good point. I agree with that. Was there anything that you learned today about Luke Weisong and Gabe Lopez that maybe you hadn't known? And were they talking about any of the other players? I don't want to give away your package for KRQE, even though we're an hour behind. But what did you kind of report on too?
So my whole deal, I try to cover everything today with, from conference realignment to can the Lobos compete? Can the Mountain West compete with the Power Four? The whole deal with Washington State and Oregon, possibly going into another year of a agreement with them. But I will say I've known Luke Weisong since high school. I've covered him since high school, so I've known him. It's good to see him back. He's a very confident kid, and he's put on so much weight, man. That kid, I will say, is a freaking worker, man. He just keeps getting bigger and bigger each year. And it's good to see him back healthy after that shoulder injury last year. I've never talked to Gabe, so that was pretty cool to talk to him. And he's very well-spoken. I'm sure you guys talked to him. Very well-spoken individual. And
got a sense of humor.
Yeah, he does. And what I really liked about him is just how bought in he is, which is good. I feel like just hearing from him, that's the big thing too with the new head coach. Obviously, you're going to have someone come in and try to change the culture, but is the whole team going to buy in? And I feel like everyone has bought in. And just for me talking with Bronco, he's different from a lot of the head coaches I've talked to, but he does kind of bring you in a little bit. And I feel like Gabe, when I talked to him, he really kind of put that into perspective for me from what a player is seeing. And even Luke talked about that he couldn't describe it about when he talks to him, like when Bronco talks to him, but just how much it really does hit you deep. I guess that's what I got from him, really. I mean, just getting to know Gabe was kind of cool, just talking off camera. But I know Luke, he's a good kid, man. I've been talking to him since high school.
Had some success there at Cleveland, playing with Heath Ridenauer. And, Coach Ridenauer back at Cleveland as the offensive coordinator, and he's going to do a great job there. Was a great quarterback for Eastern New Mexico and a very good position coach and a good guy.
He's a great dude.
We're going to have him on my son and I are going to have him on in, I think next week sometime. And I always love talking to him. But, you mentioned a culture change and you're right. Coach Gonzalez, who didn't love the guy? I mean, he sees you, he'd always say, "Hey, Ed, how you doing?" He knows your name, gives you a hug.
Hey, Ryan, I heard you're talking shit again.
Yeah. Why would you not root for a guy like that who went to Valley?
Yeah.
He's from here. Of course we wanted him. I wanted them all to win, though, all of them. That goes back to Rudy Feldman when he coached Rocky Long. That's years ago. So I think it's exciting to hear Luke Weisong, and he mentioned that. A lot of guys quit. A lot of guys won't be here. They transferred. It's the hardest thing I've ever done. But I think they might surprise some people. But again, the schedule's tough. It's a very tough schedule. There's no doubt about it. They're going to, again, I mentioned this, Bronco Mendenhall has had an effect everywhere he's gone. He's won. He's a winner. So I would expect, maybe not right away. No. But I think it's an exciting time, Jared, for Lobo football. I'm optimistic. But you know what? I'm the guy, I'm not a Pollyanna either, though. It's going to see things through rose-colored glasses and tell you everything's great if it's not.
Yeah,
but I'm going to tell you that seeing him hired, when I hired that, I saw he was hired. I was like, gosh, man, that's great.
Yeah.
How could it not be?
Yeah, I'm with you.
Yeah.
That's the same thing I felt. And I was talking to my dad about this. It's just like, this is the perfect place for him. This is what he knows. He knows how to rebuild programs. I mean, he's done it at BYU and Virginia. I mean, he, had great stints with them. And it is, this is the perfect place for him because he does almost have total control. He knows he can do what he wants. This is his program. This is his way to mold it into how he wants it to be. And I think that's what this program really needs. They need a mind like him. And I think he's going to bring in the right talent, like not just talent that is good on paper, but character guys, and that's huge. It is tough in this day and age with NIL and getting people to come play for money. He's going to get in those character guys that are not going to be one to play for money, which is tough, but he's going to bring in those guys. And I really do think that this program is really going to benefit from it. I really do.
Donovan Dampier seems to be, I said this to, we said this to Sean.
Devin Dampier.
Devin Dampier seems to be the quarterback. The Lobos, it seems to be. They haven't had a solid guy behind center in a long time, but I think the concern is the number 2 guy. Have they developed a number 2 guy? Because Devin Dampier is going to take off.
Yeah.
He's a runner. He's going to get hit.
Might get hurt.
Right. So hopefully they've developed that second guy that can go in there and take 8 to 10 if they need them, 8 to 10 snaps.
Yeah.
And I think that's going to be real key because Devin Dampier, man, he seems to be by all accounts.
Yeah.
They're going to, they're going to be different formations to utilize his talent. Right? A lot of RPOs, I'm sure. But I think that number 2 quarterback position is very important.
Yeah, for sure. We'll see what happens there. I mean, like you said, injury is obviously with a running quarterback that could happen. But I will say, watching him play, I mean, all of us were really pleased to see the way he played last year. And I mean, he's only going to get better in year 2. And I mean, he's got a lot of good weapons coming back too with Medford and obviously Wysong. He's got Henry under center. I mean, it stinks we don't have Bill back, Corey Krosky Merritt, which that hurts. But I do think that he's going to have the tools to really get this offense running,
I always try to be, it's a full-blown lie, but I always try to be original on this show. Even though my jokes are poor and they're from pop culture, but Athlon Sports, I'm going to read this to you and I want you to hear it's actually serious. I'm not making a dad joke. By the way, my child, his nickname is Fart Man. So there you go. Anyway,
Nice.
that's the dad jokes. In Athlon Sports, somebody is quoted, an opposing Mountain West assistant coach said this about the Lobos, quote, and Ed knows where I'm going with this because he's the one who found it. And when I read it, I was like, whoa, quote, there's no reason this program should be as bad as they've been, end quote. How do you, when you hear that, your face says it all. When you hear that, I mean, what is it? I read that and he said it and I was like, yeah, that's a valid point. I don't
Straight to the point.
Yeah, straight. That when you hear that, what do you think? All right, you already showed the emotion.
Yeah, I mean, that's straight to the point, and that's what I think fans want to hear. That's what they hope to see, that they're not as bad. And I mean, it's tough. Like we said, we haven't seen this team, but I do hope that we do see something a little bit better. I mean, like we said, it's been since 2016 since we've been to a bowl game. There's been only 2 winning seasons since Rocky left in 2000. I mean, I do think that talking to the players, you guys talk to them too, the hard work that's been going on, it's hard not to think that something better is going to happen. I would say 4 wins like last year would be a win. If they get 5, that's awesome.
Are you fully aware that they're 4.5? Well, you probably heard Sean Ryder say it, but they're 4.5 point underdogs
I know.
to Montana State. And he said FanDuel or DraftKings had them as high as 7.5, which means
I didn't see that. I saw the 4.5.
Yeah, I saw the 4.5.
Yeah.
He tweeted it out, which means that Vegas, many here in Vegas, think that Montana State is a touchdown or better than the Lobos, an FBS team at UNM. What are your thoughts on
That's
that?
what I was gonna say. The game's at UNM.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. I thought, I was like, wait a second. I was getting ready to be in the blazing heat that day, and I was like, well, if it's not in UNM, I'm going to Montana because Montana looks lovely. You were just in Hawaii. Travel advice.
Yeah. I don't know. I can't believe that. I'm sorry. I know they're a good team, and I know we don't know what's going on. And I'm sure Vegas doesn't know what's going on with the Lobos either. That's the thing too.
Yeah, that's a valid point.
I don't see that happening, honestly. I'll say that right now. I don't see that happening.
You don't see Montana State
Beating the Lobos, yeah.
A lot of people will probably be happy to hear that. Ed, do you have anything more football related before we let Jared go? I'm going to ask him a basketball question.
Yeah, Jared, I think you're right about that. I mean, look, if I'm Coach Mendenhall and I read that, I don't, I'm sure you can't care about that. I'm going to put my team on the field. This is a better team. Whatever we're facing, it can't worry about that. Right? And I think he has to look at it like every game. And I think Rudy Chavez mentioned this last night. They're going to be underdogs. And use that as a motivation. Nobody thinks you're going to be any good. You're picked 11th in the conference. So we go out there and we do what we do. And better coaching, right? But the Mendenhall effect, where does it take place? And I think we're going to see it. I'm excited to at least see how this team progresses through a very tough schedule, a very first year tough schedule. So I wouldn't even worry about that. If you're 10, 20 points, who cares? You put the team out in the field and let's see what we do. That's it. Bottom line.
Yeah. I'm with you.
I had another football question for you and I forgot. I don't know. I can't think of it. I'm too out of it. People that listen to our viewership, it's basketball heavy. I mean, if we could talk more like baseball and other other programs within the department have been successful, I'd love to. But we know it sells. I even love the club hockey team, Grant Harvey. I don't know if you know that name. He's awesome.
I do.
Yeah, he's
interviewed him a few times.
Yeah, he's the man. I felt bad for him because of the Oilers. And Frank Mercagliano walked up to me and he said, are you going to destroy me tonight? And I said, no, it's nothing personal, Frank. But if you're listening, Frank, yes, I would have framed the Twitter picture of you with the glasses and the Florida Panthers stuff on, had the Oilers completed the comeback, because then they would have been 0-4 since the picture. Anyway, basketball related, the transfers, since we've got you, the transfers and Pitino and what Kurt Roth does. Kurt Roth, we love. He's a friend of the show. What do you make of it? And I'm going to preface this because I think that just coming to Vegas and getting 4 games in a row to win the conference, and then the fan base and everybody acts like they won the World Cup or the Super Bowl. Yeah. I've always said I use Jake Taylor, Tom Berenger from
win the
whole fucking thing. What is my company? I can do what I want. And Eric's looking at me.
I can't say that.
Yeah, it's okay. No, I know. I'm not asking you to. I'm glad your dad's laughing. I hope your dad has enjoyed my commentary, because he's looking at me.
He's been laughing.
Good. Yeah, hey, all right. I just, winning the conference, to me, they've been there and done that. And you look at a team like San Diego State that has advanced and is a national runner-up. I don't, we got chastised by San Diego State fans because we said it was an easier road, but they did beat a number 1 seed Alabama. I always just say raise the bar, advance, get to the Elite Eight, get to that. I think that is bigger than what Vegas is cool. It's great here to win the Mountain West. It's a trophy case. It's a trophy in your trophy case. I'm rambling. What have you liked? I mean, these transfers, what are your thoughts?
I like it. I like where they're going. I mean, obviously not having JT Toppin hurts. But I will go back and I will say that, yes, I do believe that the Lobos need to win. They need to win in the tournament. Yeah, they need to. I think that would be big with Pitino. I know everyone was really worried about Pitino leaving.
I thought,
and I think it will be huge. Even now, without an NCAA win, I think it will be help him obviously to get a win, and it will obviously help the program. They need to get a win in the NCAA tournament. I mean, obviously, make a deep run. That's the big thing, but they need to get at least one win, I think, this next year in the NCAA tournament. I do think that they've gotten guys that they can get there. I mean, they got size. They've added length. They've added some shooters. I think it's very positive from what I've seen, and I'm excited, man. I'm so excited to see Donovan Dent back, and I'm really excited to see True Washington in year 2. Hopefully, he blossoms like Dent did.
Right,
Double D, as I call him. Hopefully. He blossoms like him, and I know it's still, we're coming up on football season, but as you said, it's the moneymaker. I'm really excited for basketball season this next year too.
I kind of made the comment, if they lose to Montana State, I think everybody at the right before Labor Day is going to be like, well, when does basketball season start?
And you know what? I hope not, because it's a Lobo fan since '70. That's been kind of the story. There's been pockets of success. Franchione had some success. Joe Morrison, way before 10-1, gone. Rocky had the most success, and Krebs wanted to run him off and bring in Loxley. He said, you're going to add another digit to University Stadium scoreboard. Remember how'd that work out?
Yeah,
not well.
I was there for that.
So even, we mentioned that Jeff Symbieta was on today, and we mentioned that Coach Davey actually brought the Lobos to 2 bowl games. It didn't move the attendance meter. It didn't.
No.
So, let's hope that it does, that wins and people come out. But to just real quick to your point about Lobo basketball, Coach Pitino's goals in the offseason: get taller, get longer, get more athletic, boxes checked.
Yep.
The other thing is, you're right, they need a win. Yep. And he said this at the press conference we went to. You were there. Yeah. He said, we need to be consistent. It can't be just a one-season thing. We need to be like, like they hadn't won the tournament since 2014. So Lobo fans are nuts again, right? The Lobo basketball is the king and will always be the king. That's the bottom line, period. That's the way it is. So, but I think he did the things that he said he would as far as the offseason. how it translates to on the court, we'll see. But it's exciting. It's exciting to see who he brought in. But I think you're right. They have to get a win. And hopefully they get another one. And Ryan and I talked about that. If they ever made the Sweet 16 here, this town would go crazy. You know what?
Yeah.
How much do they love their Lobos, man?
Oh my gosh! Even this past season, it was amazing, man.
Yeah.
It was awesome.
Oh man, there's that building, which is built in 1966, is still magical, man.
It is.
Greg Brown, the late Lobo,
Yeah, RIP.
said the Pitt was worth 10 points before the game even started, man. That's what he said. I remember
It's
him
the
telling me
truth.
that. Yeah.
It's the truth. Everyone I talk to, any ex-Lobo that's been in the NBA. I mean, even I remember talking to Danny Granger, and I mean, he was just saying there's nothing like playing in the Pit. Even he said that the feeling he got walking down the ramp, he said it's nothing compares to it. Even being a star at Indianapolis. I mean, it's amazing. Yeah, an all-star. I mean,
he said nothing. Wow.
Yeah, he said.
Think about that.
He said that to me.
Played in some NBA games against
It's a
all,
special
like you
place,
mentioned,
man.
all-star.
It's a special place.
Yeah, no doubt. One more quick question. How cool is it to be hanging out with your pop here, man?
Oh, this is the best, man. I love doing this. I mean, you get to work with your son too.
Yeah,
and I mean, just have my dad here, the father-son time. Like I said, he's an old football head. He holds some records in Indiana. He's a Hall of Famer at his college, so he's a big football guy. And so it's just fun to get to talk old football stories, and he gets to meet everybody, and it's fun. And he actually helped me with my story today. I had him film something in one of my stories. So first time my pop gets some credit on a KRQE one of my stories. So that was pretty cool.
That's very cool.
Yeah, it's his next career. He's
man,
retired, so he's getting back in.
You're Superman to me.
Yeah.
You're Superman, all right?
I love it.
I'm
I
a
love
big
it.
fan. I always text you.
Yeah,
nice
I
suit,
love it.
nice hair, nice jacket. So
Yeah.
I'm a
And I
big
want to
fan.
give you a shout out, and Gary Sanchez a shout out. Some Highland. I didn't know. It should have clicked on me that you know him. My dad works with him, and he's such a good guy. And you guys are doing so much at Highland. I think that's pretty cool.
He's being inducted at our second Hall of Fame class. Gary Sanchez, the former track coach
Yep.
at Highland, who I absolutely love to death. He's on our committee. He deserves it. He's a very good man. He also coached football there. His father, Henry, was inducted into our first class. And so Coach Sanchez is going into our second class. We're very proud of that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I love that man. What a guy.
Yeah,
He's
no,
such
really
a good dude.
Great guy.
Yeah.
So I'm sitting here looking at you with your slicked back hair and the
Mhm.
beard. You look like Ewan McGregor from Attack of the Clones. You
Oh,
look like
really?
Obi-Wan Kenobi. That
That's what
Obi-Wan
I'm-
Kenobi.
Doing
Is that what you're going for?
No, I was going more for like a 90s action star, or maybe the bad guy from the Mighty Ducks.
Wolf the Dentist
The
Stanton?
dentist, yeah.
Oh, I hope my buddy Mike. I know Steven's not lit. We quote that all the time. The goalie.
The
The goalie. Okay, I know we're in Vegas, but I enjoy talking to you, and I haven't had you on in a while. I'm trying to think of other 90s. I always think of, and it's underrated,
Mhm.
is Sylvester Stallone in Judge Dredd, where he goes, "But I am the law. I can't do it.
the
I am the law.
I am the law.
I forgot that one, man.
No,
Yeah.
no,
That's so bad. It's so good.
Yeah, it is.
What
so-
did he announce? Tulsa King?
he's-
Yeah, he's in
yeah.
that.
He's
Yeah.
not Judge Dredd in that. That's a
No.
completely different thing.
No, I know that. Yeah.
Yeah,
Just trying to remember
what
what he's doing now.
Yeah. What else? Yeah, he's 78. His birthday was like the other day.
Did he
I saw.
really?
Yeah, I saw that. I was like, holy.
He still looks pretty darn good,
well,
man.
You know,
It's amazing.
you
78.
when you inject money in your
yeah,
veins.
yeah. Steroids.
Steroids, yeah.
HGH. I love the guy though.
Yeah.
What a guy.
I
That's Rocky.
yeah,
Come
he's
on.
Rocky. He's Tango. He's either Tango and or Cash. I haven't seen that movie in years.
Rambo,
He's Rambo.
Rambo.
Yeah.
the original Rocky, still to me, though.
What's his name in Over the Top? I love that.
Oh,
Tommy
yeah.
Gunn.
Yeah.
No.
No, Tommy Gunn's, yeah.
Tommy Gunn's.
His opponent.
We're gonna get
Rocky
all.
Five.
We're gonna
Rocky
get
Five.
5. Yeah, I hear no bell. What is his title in Over? What is his name in Over the Top?
The original Rocky's still the best
Oh, for sure.
by far.
I remember in college, every time I wrote a paper, I would somehow work in a Rocky quote from Rocky 1. If you go back and look at all my
That is
papers
funny,
my freshman year, I had a Rocky quote in there.
Oh, that's awesome. I would have loved to read
Yeah.
it. I would have caught it. I'd been like, all right,
Yeah,
I'd have got
yeah.
it deserved.
Yeah,
His name, and I didn't know this because Over the Top's a great film. Is Lincoln Hawk?
that's right. Hawk.
Yeah, Hawk. That's quite the name. I'm trying to think what else we've I can, because I like your sense of humor.
You know, I just found out.
What?
What's his name from Revenge of the Nerds? Gosh, Nerds. What's his name? Yeah, he played basketball at UNM. I had no idea. Just found that out. What's his name? The Ogre.
Oh yeah,
Ogre.
Ogre.
He played basketball at UNM.
Really?
Yeah, I had no idea. I mean, he
Man.
didn't average many points. I don't think he averaged many minutes, but he went to UNM and he played
Oh,
basketball.
Donald Gibb.
Yeah.
He also is in Bloodsport
man.
with
Bloodsport. Oh, it's one of my faves too.
here's the pop culture thing. Say that again.
He's Potato.
Yeah, but yeah. Have you ever heard the song? And this is I get from Jim Rome, but have you ever heard the band Winger from the 80s? She's 17, so she's
always there.
Kip Winger has a the man who wrote that song has a music degree from UNM. Yeah. So when UNM takes the field,
like
or
a one-hit wonder guy.
yeah, one hit wonder, when he was like a bass player, and if you watch that video, like he's got like a cut shirt, and he's got the bass, and he's like swinging it around.
Slapping it.
I think he's slapping the bass. When UNM takes the field, I feel like they should just could you come on? Yeah,
own it. Like that's huge.
Yeah,
That's
they should
awesome.
own that.
Yeah.
I'm gonna let you go because you're in Vegas and I sound like an idiot. It's Jared Tester from KRQE, man. I love talking to you. You're one of my favorite people in the media.
Thanks
in
for
town,
having me
so
on.
appreciate it. We're gonna take a quick commercial break, and Ed and I will wrap up. Ed and I will wrap up day one of Mountain West Conference Football Media Days. So appreciate everybody watching.
Let him cook. Let him cook now. Let him cook. I said let him cook.
Play fake by McCamey. Looking downtown. Touchdown! Basket! .47 yards for the score.
Here's what they're in 22 personnel, 2 backs, 2 tight ends. And it's McCamey to basket. That's it. Now watch. Gordon does a pretty good job. He doesn't get his hands on him. He fell that little stutter. I like what he's doing, but he's got to keep his eyes on the receiver. As soon as his head.
2 backs and 2 tight ends. Play fake to Moore. Looking up top for basket. Got him behind his man. Flag down. The catch is good at the 1-yard line. He got in behind Ernest Gordon, but it didn't matter. The basket comes up limping a little bit.
Well, again, this is the only pass they've shown throwing out of this formation, what Ernest Gordon does. Now, he does a better job. I like him to be putting his hand right there. He's looking up.
I dropped the top on the 6th Street. Fly in my ops, see the envy me. Passing it off like CP3. Shawty, she calling me MVP. I be on time, it's something you ain't never seen before. They call me the Dama, really want my whole team to score. Damn, yeah, too icy, yeah, too clean, yeah, my zone, yeah, 2-3, yeah, got shooters that hit from deep, bust like Giannis, yeah, too mean, bright lights like we at the garden, on P, when we started, whole team walk in, we the party, if I can't make the play, I'ma lob it, if you jump, that's right on your head. bed. Had to put him to sleep, go to bed. I'm a star, drop 50 and left. From the logo, like I'm Steph. Put it up, knock him down every time. Going hard like my life on the line. Catch me on the course, I would've dime. Never losing, I put it on mine. Had to get out my shell, I've been laying low. They get real when it comes to the playoffs. They fight with me, know it's a KO.
We had to take an extended commercial break because we were talking to Jared Tester and his dad is awesome. I know we had technical difficulties. I'm incredibly sorry about that. I hadn't experienced that with the setup that we have here, so very, very sorry. Special thanks to Sean Ryder of the Albuquerque Journal and Jared Tester from KRQE. Ed, what'd you take away from today, the first day with the players at Media Days? And this is your first time here.
Yeah, just what I mentioned, just the enthusiasm and the approach these players had to their craft, and also the academics. You know, we mentioned Jackson Woodward is a three-time All Mountain West Conference All Academic. He's been on that team.
SEC.
Yeah, he came from Arkansas. Yeah. So that I think just that their enthusiasm, they can't wait for the season to start. And everyone we talked to today, I'm lucky, at Western, I get to interview a lot of athletes and so I get to see a lot of games, and even in high school, get to interview athletes after games or interviews on the sports desk with athletes. So I think that's what I got out of it. And I can't wait for tomorrow to talk to the coaches. We saw Tommy Chang in an interview from Hawaii earlier, and we maybe get to talk to him tomorrow.
He's great.
Yeah. So, and hopefully we get to talk to Coach Mendenhall tomorrow too. So, and so that's what I took away from it. Great atmosphere, the Mountain West Conference. Where they provided lunch, breakfast, so snacks. It's a great atmosphere up here, man. It's not too many things wrong you could say today. I mean, it's a great day.
Yeah, media members were vultures. So free food, you throw it out there, it's great. Again, we apologize for the technical difficulties. We're a little tired. I try to get a couple more guests on tonight. We owe Ben. I need to message Ben Weiss on. We're going to have you on tonight. I'm going to push that back. I apologize, rain check, especially with the technical difficulties. But Ed, it's been a pleasure. We're going to talk to the coaches tomorrow. We have some interviews from today. We also talked to Jeff Symbieta, executive director of the Isleta New Mexico Bowl. But it's been fun. We're happy. We're a little tired. It's also 9 o'clock our time, going on 9:30 our time. But we appreciate everybody. And I'm just going to apologize again for the technical difficulties. Hope everybody has a good night. And I think we're going to try to do something more. Maybe we can do something Friday night, definitely Monday night prior to the TBT and the alumni games. So everybody, if we don't talk to you, have a great weekend. And we'll be pushing out the interviews that we have had from here at Mountain West, the 2024 Mountain West Conference Football Media Days. So again, everybody, thanks for watching. I'm Ryan Tamori, Ed Nunez. This is the Pit Press Live, and we want to appreciate special thanks to Turquoise Desert Tap Room for helping us get here. Get your rest, guys. John Romero, man, look at the National Grass Field. Yes, I was very well aware that Eastern Washington had a red field. By the way, I saw that one of the comments. But anyway, we're getting out of here. Everybody have a good one.